This is Baja Blast, my competitive shiny Weezing. Now, when seeing a competitive shiny, most would suspect some kind of foul play, but I actually caught him from the wild the other day live on my Twitch stream. No hacking required, just my normal docked Nintendo Switch sending video to my PC via HDMI cable. The same setup literally any streamer uses for their consoles. However, unlike most other streamers, I didn't just brute force this shiny Pokemon by randomly encountering Weezings on 4 different consoles until my eyes fell out. Instead, I used a technique known as RNG manipulation. It's commonly used by speedrunners to control luck-based events in games where one bad dice roll can potentially ruin hours of effort. However, for a game like Pokemon, it's a fun and interesting way to save yourself hours of effort without resorting to full-on hacking. Which begs the question, if you're using all these sketchy techniques and programs, why on earth did it take you 5 hours?
This is gonna be a while, guys.
So, here's the thing about competitive shiny Pokemon. They are impossibly rare to find in the wild. Unlike legendary encounters, gift Pokemon, or breeding, there's no way to guarantee the Pokemon have even one perfect competitive stat. So even if I do find a 1 in 4096 shiny Weezing, I have to roll a perfect 32 on 5 out of 6 separate dice. That's a staggering 1 in 33,554,432 chance occurrence. Needless to say, even finding a suitable Weezing to try and encounter can take a while. Why didn't I just breed a Weezing, you might ask? Well, RNG breeding is 100% possible in BDSP, and it would have been infinitely faster. But I haven't covered BDSP Wild RNG manipulation yet, and I also just think it's fun to catch one in the wild. At least, I thought it would be fun to catch one in the wild, until this happened.
Get out of there, it's gonna blow!
Wait, did I just kill it? Wait. For a second there, I thought I killed it. I thought I just... Oh, I did! Wait. It exploded?
So, moral of the story, check movesets before you start hunting for a Pokemon. Thankfully, the solution was rather simple. Get a Pokemon with Damp. This ability causes self-destruct and explosion to fail. So I head into Pokemon Home and scoop up a Wooper to soup up. And don't forget to boop the like button too. However, while leveling up, I learned 2 very important lessons. The first is that Weezing gets neutralizing gas as one of its abilities, which would nullify Damp and allow explosion to kill Weezing regardless. Thankfully, my target Weezing is Levitate, so I didn't have to worry about this. But then this happened. No.
How do I block Memento and Explosion?
Weezing actually comes with 2 attacks that KO the user. Explosion and Memento, which isn't covered by Damp. Back to the drawing board. The solution turns out to be the move Imprison, which permanently stops the opposing Pokemon from picking any move it shares with the user. This means I need to find a Pokemon with access to Imprison, Explosion, and Memento. My first instinct was to use this tool on PokemonDB.net, the moveset searcher. This lets you filter out Pokemon that can learn specific combination of moves, and according to this tool, Drifblim gets all the moves I need. At least he would get all the moves I need if it weren't for one little missed detail. Drifblim only learns Imprison via TM44 in Sword and Shield. Unfortunately for me, Pokemon sent from home into BDSP have their moves wiped, and BDSP has no Imprison TM. There's no way to actually get an Imprisoned Drifblim in this game. At this point, it's been over 3 hours and I'm at my wit's end. I was preparing to find a Smeargle and use Sketch to get Imprison, Explosion, and Memento on the same Pokemon. But thankfully, certified Gigabrain chatter Mark Iyer provided the solution to my problem. Muck. He actually provided this solution to me much earlier, but I'm a stubborn fool and I didn't even consider Muck was the best option. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be as easy as catching any random Grimer and leveling it up. Imprison is only an egg move on Muck, so I'll need to venture into the Grand Underground, fill up my secret base with every poison type statue I have, and start catching Grimer until I get one with the Imprison egg move in its first slot. I've got one more trick up my sleeve too, Imposter Ditto. By leading with Ditto, I can instantly transform into the opposing Grimer and copy its moveset, avoiding the need to battle and capture every time just to check the moves. After cycling through a few worthless sludge monsters, I finally found the perfect Grimer. And so, after running around in circles for hours trying to figure out how to stop Weezing from Minecrafting itself, I finally have the perfect answer and can get back to the RNG. First, I need to feint my lead Pokemon Umbreon, who has the Synchronize ability. This guarantees that every Weezing I encounter will have my nature of choice. All that's left to do is save here in Stark Mountain and begin looking for a seed. I've covered this process extensively in my BDSP RNG guides, and here it's 100% the same. I line up this little tracking box over my character's eyeball and let the program monitor the pattern of her blinks. BDSP was basically coded on the back of a napkin, so the RNG mechanism that controls when a character blinks is the exact same system that determines what Pokemon appear when. By recording the pattern of 40 character blinks, we can use the program player blink to calculate the precise RNG state and track it from there. Stark Mountain's first room is completely devoid of NPCs on weekends because your rival is waiting for you outside the tower. This means every second the game's RNG only has to make a single check for our player character's blinks. Every additional NPC means each second the game needs to make an additional blink check, which means some Pokemon become impossible to encounter. This is why Wild RNG is off limits in many areas. All of the outdoor routes have tons of NPCs, causing the process to become less of a manipulation and more of a gamble. However, places like the lakefronts, Trophy Garden, Unknown Ruins, and many caves have 0 NPCs, which makes them perfect for RNG manipulation. Once the 40 blinks are complete, Player Blink will give us a long string of letters and numbers called the seed. Once you know the seed, every future RNG state is predictable. But why? Well, imagine I gave you a simple counting rule like add 1, then multiply by 2, and then asked you for a sequence of numbers. If I told you to start at 7, the sequence would go 7, 16, 34, 70, 142, and so on. But if I told you to start from 3, the sequence would go 3, 8, 18, 38, 78, 158. The RNG seed is like the number you start counting from, and the RNG algorithm is the add 1 then double it rule, just a bit more complex. And so, from this point, all I need to do is use my seed to search for the Weezing I want in the sequence of potential Pokemon. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, shiny competitive Pokemon are incredibly rare, so more often than not, a suitable Weezing doesn't appear until many millions of seconds into the game. Now, I don't actually have to wait millions of seconds, but I am limited in how fast I can move. Another unique quirk of BDSP's RNG is that scrolling through the Pokedex causes a lot of RNG advances for some reason. The more entries you have filled, the faster it goes. I have a completed national dex, so scrolling from Bulbasaur to Arceus causes about 8,000 advances. Doing this on repeat for about 10 minutes causes about 1,000,000 advances, and I can use the blinks to re-identify and start tracking again after advancing in these large chunks. And so, after a bit of searching, I found a pretty damn good 4IV shiny Weezing on RNG Advance 2,022,637. Not 100% perfect, but I can patch that up with bottle caps, and honestly, after 4.5 hours, I just wanted to be done. All that's left to do is scroll through the Pokedex for 20 minutes, arrive at Advance 2,000,000, and wait for the blinks to pass by until finally using the honey item to force a wild encounter, one advance before my target Weezing. Muck comes in to use Imprison and block the Weezing from using Explosion or Memento, but I actually made one more slight miscalculation. Weezing is faster than Muck. I get lucky here and Weezing uses an ineffective Toxic instead of immediately going boom, but things could have ended right here. I'm finally safe to lower Weezing's HP and go for a capture, and this time I chose the Friend Ball. It's a nice match to go with Weezing's green shiny, and finally, after 5 hours, the Odyssey is complete and Baja Blast has joined the team. And if you want to start adding more competitive shinies to your teams in BDSP, then you need to check out this playlist right here, which contains all of my guides on how to do RNG manipulation in BDSP. It's super powerful and it covers everything from wilds to starter Pokemon to legendaries, and there's even a breeding guide coming out soon, so stay tuned, it's going to blow your mind. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, peace.